catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
African tech startups have raised over $5 billion in the past 5 years. The amount of success and popularity that the startup ecosystem has gained in less than a decade has been totally mind-blowing. Almost every time on social media in the past 2 years, you'd see someone talking about moving into tech or starting a tech startup, or the amount of money that actually goes through that particular pipe. The innovative strides, funding from around the world, the solutions, yes, despite the many hurdles, are currently being studied. Nonetheless, we have recently questioned the models that these startups are running on. Are they just high on ideas, dreams, and investor capital, or are they standing on solid business model ground? Are African tech startups running on the right business models? Is it time to rethink the business models upon which these startups currently operate? I have with me a renowned business leader, strategy consultant, and managing partner at People Capacity Management, Biola Ojo, who would be sharing insights on these very important issues for the tech ecosystem on the continent. Hi Biola, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Anthony. I'm good. And you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited to be having this conversation with you because, just like I said in the intro, are we really high on just ideas, dreams, and investor capital? Or are we really standing on solid ground? That's talking about the tech startups. Though we have over time celebrated the innovative strides, the people doing the great things and the many solutions that we're bringing about. So that's why I'm really excited that we're having this kind of discussion, because almost every time the discussion is just about how things are and the question of whether these businesses can survive certain times really most times doesn't come up as often as the discussion about other things in the ecosystem comes up. So first off, I think we should start with business models, talking about what business models are, why it's important to even talk about business models for businesses, and then maybe address what sustainable business model is. If we have many sustainable business models, then we should also have an idea of what they are and what generally they mean. So I think that's a great way to start.
Well, thank you, Anthony, once again for having me on your program. I'm excited to be here as well. I think this topic is one topic that a lot of tech and techpreneurs are also beginning to ask themselves. There are so many tech businesses and so many tech startups that are out there that are failing on a daily basis. And there are various reasons or different reasons why these businesses are failing. And so I'm glad that this is one area that we are all beginning to talk about. And we're not just talking about the successes of the few tech businesses that seem to be doing very well. So like you rightly said, it's important for us to first off understand what a business model is. When you talk about a business model, why is it important? So a business model in clear terms is a strategic plan of how a business or a company would make money. So when you talk about your business model, so do you have a strategic plan in place? Have you more or less to do a feasibility study on your business? Do you think your business will be able to stand the test of time? Or who are your target market? Who are your target audience? What product are you taking to the market? Who are your competitors? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are some of the opportunities that are out there? What are the issues that you're trying to address? And then what are the threats? Threats that might hinder you from achieving your goals. So these are some of the things that a business model would more or less try to bring to the fore. So that's what a business model is all about. And I mean, basically, how do you intend to drive your sale? Do you have a plan in place? If you talk to quite a number of techpreneurs, you ask them what their long-term plan is. A number of people that I've spoken to in the last couple of months, I've realized that they are just clear in terms of, yes, I know there is money in this, but in terms of the longevity of the business plan, there's actually no long-term plan for it, and that's why you see quite a number of them failing in recent times.
And would you maybe give us 2 or 3 examples of business models that are out there? And let's continue with this one. Like, how many do we have? Multiple business models? Do we have 2 or 3 business models that every business should run on? And are these business models peculiar to maybe the industry, or are they peculiar to the people that are within that particular space?
So there are different business models out there. So depending on your kind of business. So I can say there are 4 basic common business models that we're usually aware of here. So you talk about the business to business model. That is where a business is servicing another business. Yeah. You have the business to consumer model. That is where your target market are mainly the retailers, the direct consumers of your business. You have the subscription-based model. You have the on-demand business model. So there are different models. But then, as a business owner, you need to ask yourself, and which is why a good understanding of your target audience or your target market would help you drive the kind of business model that you should be using. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the business model is dependent on what you are taking to the market. So it could be that your target audience or your target market are businesses. So you then have to deploy the business to business model. If it's then direct to the consumers, so you do your B2C, which is commonly called the B2C. Or if your business model is based on subscription, where you have to pay for subscriptions like the Netflix and co, then you use the subscription-based model. Or if it's the on-demand business model. So there are different business models that are out there. You just need to have a good understanding of your own business, your business idea, and now you intend to drive sale in that regard.
Is there a possibility that someone would know what they're trying to sell, but wrongly choose a business model that fits what they're trying to sell or who they're trying to sell to?
That's a deep question, Anthony. So I say it's a deep question because, for instance, if you are the the owner of the vision of the business, so you have a vision and you know what your vision is. Before you go to the market, before you even start up a business, normally you should ask questions around, okay, so how do I intend to achieve this vision, or how do I intend to drive this? And that should give you an idea of your target market. But in a case where you are not clear in terms of the vision, in terms of what you are trying to achieve, there is that possibility really for you to get it wrong in terms of the target market and the target audience. So if, for instance, if your business is meant to be a B2B, which is business to business model, and you try to do a B2C, you realize that you might not be as profitable as you would want to be. You might also struggle in terms of even getting the direct consumers to buy into your idea, because number one, is not speaking to their needs. So for every idea that you have, the idea must speak to a particular need. For every idea or every product that you are pushing to the market, it must mean that it's addressing a need. So, and it's not just about it addressing the need, it must mean that you've identified the target market or the audiences that are in need of that product. So, and a lot of times we talk about demand, which is you need to identify who has the money to buy your product. You need to identify the person, if the person has the authority, and then if there is a need for it. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say there, Anthony.
Yeah, I do. Now, if we're looking at these business models, I'm taking myself as an example. I have something to sell. How do I go about? I know you've just talked about these things, but are there some standard steps to take, right? To say, yes, I have actually identified that this one works with this best fits this best fits this.
So that's speaking to the model in clear terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for you to have a successful business model is actually built on several key factors. And number one is you need to ask yourself, what's the value proposition? A strong business model starts with a clear and compelling value proposition. So it must be that you have a clear and compelling reason for wanting to start the business in the first place. Mm-hmm. So it defines the unique value or benefit that you are bringing to the market, that you are offering the people, either to direct customers or to businesses. Then I talked about the target market. Identifying and understanding your target market is always very critical. It's important, it is crucial. So a business model should define the specific customer segment that product or service is meant to serve. So that's critical and that's important. So what customer segment are you trying to serve? So by understanding the target market's preference, their behaviors, their needs, that can help you to tailor your product or your services or your marketing strategies accordingly. And then you are talking around, okay, so I have identified my target market, I have identified my customer segment, I know the value that I'm bringing to this target market. The next question you then should be asking yourself is, okay, so how do I intend to make money out of it? Do you understand? So the revenue stream. So a successful business model would help you outline how the company will generate money, how you intend to generate money, because that's what will make you profitable at the end of the day. That's what can make it sustainable, make the business sustainable. So you are looking at it in terms of the cost of the sales of product or services, licensing, advertising, marketing strategies, the revenue streams. What revenue streams do we have that will help us drive our overall profitability? Then you're also looking at your cost structure, So managing costs is always very important when it comes to building a successful business model. And it involves you understanding the key cost drivers. If you're into manufacturing, production, distribution, marketing, whatever it is. So what are the key cost drivers of your business? Because you need to understand that as well, because that's what will help you know how to price your business. That's what will help you know how to price your services. And you talk about the key activities, your channel of distribution, your channels and distribution. You talk about the competitive advantage that your business has or would have over your competitors out there. So these are some of the things that you need to think about in terms of building a model that would help you drive your vision, help you grow the business and make your business a sustainable business.
So can we have a mix of these models, and is it possible to, at a point, maybe pivot from one model to maybe another model? Is that possible? Absolutely,
it's possible. So we've seen instances where a business can start, your business idea, your vision initially could be that, my plan is to serve businesses. So the business model right now, because we're just starting, we're a startup, it could be to serve other businesses. So it could be B2B. Mm-hmm. And then along the line, you see the opportunity for growth. And you see that, we can actually do more than servicing businesses. We can actually go straight to consumers, direct consumers. So, and then you also craft another model that will help you drive that vision that you have. So you are not throwing away the initial B2B, because the B2B is more like the platform that you have to also drive this other one. So, but then this other business idea, because you've seen that there is a need for it, you now pivot from a B2B to a B2C. And we see a lot of the banks doing that, for quite a number of them, they started with just dealing with focusing on corporate clients, right? And then you realize that over time, they realize that, for them to be able to make money, make as much, be as profitable as they would want, why don't we just go retail? And then suddenly they also have the retail banking arm of their business. But it's a different plan, it's a different model that would help them drive that particular stream of income.
And when we say this is a sustainable business model, what exactly does it mean?
So when you say it's a sustainable business model, it means that your business is able to stand the test of time. When you say sustainable business model, it means that you are able to meet your obligations, not just your obligations. It means that you're able to serve your target market. It means that you have a value proposition. You understand your target market. It means a whole lot. Do you understand? It means you understand your business.
So if we're going to judge, if we're going to judge this against maybe certain metrics, what metrics would we be looking at to say yes, we've actually passed the test of having a sustainable business model?
So if you are going to be able to say yes, I have a sustainable business model, then it must mean that, number one, you understand the value that you are bringing to the table, you understand your target market, you understand the products that they want, and you understand their behaviors, you understand their needs, you understand your cost structure, you understand how to reach out to your audience, to your market, you understand the competitive advantage that you have over all your other businesses. You also have the relationship, the relationship that can help you build a business for the long term. Do you understand? These are some of the things that you would have in place. It means you have a long-term viability plan. It means you have what's it called? Your customers, more or less, they trust you. You're able to scale up. You are innovative in everything in what you're doing. That's what it means to have a sustainable business model. You have the right corporate governance in place. You're looking at the ethical behavior of the management team. It means you understand regulatory compliance. You understand the risk that is inherent in your business. You understand the positive impact of your business on the society, on the environment as a whole. That's what it means.
And People Capacity Management, PCM, is organizing the Africa TechEnt Conference, which is about rethinking the sustainability of the African tech business models. And you're bringing stakeholders together to discuss, these things. What pitfalls did you notice, that made you say, what, we need to rethink the business models of tech startups?
Okay, so at People Capacity Management, in the last 2 to 3 years, we've actually done a lot of consulting within the tech space. So we have quite a number of clients in that space. And we've come to understand, we've done a lot of research has gone into this. And we're deliberate in terms of the topic, the theme of the conference. And I'm sure, Anthony, you are also in that tech space. And we see a lot of tech businesses that are failing almost on a daily. And one cannot help but ask questions around, okay, so what is actually going on here? Why are these businesses failing? I remember there was a program that we did for the clients just about 3 years ago. And my colleagues and I, we were actually discussing that we mentioned during the program that this is a bubble that will burst after some time. We knew that it was just a matter of time. I just wish that we had done this earlier. Maybe quite a number of the businesses that have failed, maybe would have been able to help them in terms of putting the right infrastructure, in terms of putting the right policies, in terms of ensuring that they are still competitive without necessarily going out of their budget, So that's the reason why that was why we decided to put this program together. So we see quite a number of these young guys with brilliant, great ideas, starting businesses. And you would agree that there is no one that would start a business and you want your business to fail in a year or in 2 years. If only they knew better, I'm sure a lot of them would have done it differently. So this is more or less creating an awareness and trying to see how we can help in our own little way to bring this conversation to the fore and see how we can work with some of these tech businesses to help them build a model that can stand the test of time.
Okay, that's really, what expectation should, people who are coming in, what expectations should they have, and what should they be coming in to get or gain from the conference?
So there's a whole lot that they are going to be getting out of that conference. The good thing about it is the conference is free, so I mean, for anyone that is a tech enthusiast, for anyone that is a techpreneur, anyone that is thinking of going into that tech space in the next maybe couple of years, or for people that are already in it and they are grappling with how to build a model, I think this is one conference that they can't afford to miss. In terms of their expectations, we've carefully and deliberately brought together SMEs, subject matter experts, that understand the tech space. People that have tried, they've gotten their fingers burnt, they've learned in the process, and they are still learning because we are all work in progress. So they will be learning from experienced people, they will be learning from people that are in there, and they also will be speaking to, there will be 1 or 2 investors that will be on the program that will be speaking to how they can also get funding for those that are thinking of raising funds for their businesses. So there is a whole lot. It's a whole lot that is being packaged or put together in a 5-hour program for people that will be attending this program.
Okay, thank you very much for spending some time to break down, this, why it's important, what a business model is, and why it's important for tech startups, to start rethinking, the business models which they operate on. We've been speaking to a renowned business leader, strategy consultant, and managing partner at People Capacity Management, PCM, and she shared her thoughts on very, very important issue. After this event, I would request that we have other conversations too around this, and as part of the firm's 5th anniversary celebration, we bring in together tech industry leaders, entrepreneurs, investors, and policymakers, just like she said, to discuss the challenges facing the African tech industry and exploring new ways to build sustainable business models on the continent. The maiden edition of the Africa TechEnt Conference has the theme which we have gone a little bit into, which is rethinking the sustainability of the African tech business model, and it's happening on 26th of May 2023 at the Civic Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. There'll be practical tips on building sustainable businesses, which will help entrepreneurs reimagine traditional models to create sustainable, ethical, and profitable enterprises. Any final words, as we wrap up on this conversation today?
All right. So thank you. I will be expecting everyone. So we would also be having the program streamed online. So there is actually a limited space for the physical attendance. So, and we've sent out mails to those that will be attending physically. We expect that it's going to be a mind-blowing session. Like you rightly said, it's going to be practical, and there will be policy makers, there will be major stakeholders at that conference. And I can bet it with you that it's going to be a time well spent tomorrow at the Civic Center. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you very much. Yes, I look forward to having more discussions around this after the conference happens.
Definitely. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.